Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be taking a look and going to share some information as well as try to understand for myself what is hydrogen fuel cells, in particular when we're taking a look at vehicles and how they work and operate within this video, is something that we are going to be taking a look at. Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are type of electric vehicles that use hydrogen gas as a fuel to generate electricity throughout chemical reactions in the fuel cells. I'm not entirely sure. For a very long time, I thought they might use compression, so compressed air in a way. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm looking to understand a little bit better for myself and perhaps share some information with others. Fuel cells which then power electric motor to provide and drive the vehicle. The basic principle behind fuel cells is the combination of hydrogen and oxygen to produce electricity, with water and heat as byproducts. Let's take a look at perhaps 7 different points where briefly I managed to find some information online to better understand this subject. Fuel cell technology. The fuel cells in FCV consist of anodes and cathodes separated by electrolyte. Very similar to this exactly same process happens in almost every battery that I know of, and this is the structure that most of the batteries would have. But I'm constantly learning, right? As well as I'm looking to share that information with others. Hydrogen gas is fed to the anode, and oxygen from the air is supplied to cathode. In the fuel cell, hydrogen molecules are split into protons and electrons. The protons move throughout the electrolyte, while the electrons create the electric current that powers the vehicle's electric motor. At the cathode, protons and electrons combine with oxygen to form water. Number two, that would be zero emissions. In particular, right now, seems that a lot of attention currently in the world is on emissions and carbon footprint that we as society leaving for others, right? So this particular way can leave zero emissions. One of the main advantages of hydrogen FCVs is that they produce zero tailpipe emissions. The only byproduct of hydrogen fuel cells reaction is water vapor, making FC environmentally friendly, especially environmentally friendly. That doesn't mean anything, right? If anything, plants, as far as I know, plans to do like emissions, since there's something that they knew CO2, they do like it. So I don't know what they mean by environmentally friendly, right? Especially in hydrogen is produced using a clean energy source, right? If anything, it is has water and heat as a byproduct. So after some time, we would say that even that's that's not a problem, I guess. Number three, that would be quick refueling. Refueling hydrogen FCS is generally faster than recharging a battery electric vehicles. It takes only a few minutes to fill hydrogen tanks, similar to refueling gasoline vehicles. Whereas changing an electric vehicle battery can take much longer. So I guess what we're comparing it again, right? So we were comparing to perhaps removing entire cells of batteries and replacing that with the new batteries. So, or we taking a look at how we can refuel a lot faster compared to current way, how we can build entire infrastructure when it comes to refueling, right? So if anything, we're trying to understand that. Since currently we not really have anything. Some of the bigger cities perhaps they look into build some infrastructure, but currently we do not have hydrogen infrastructure. So that would be range and performance. Hydrogen FCS typically have longer driving range compared to many battery electric vehicles. This is because hydrogen can be stored in the tanks at high pressure. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, but I don't know. I don't know about the weight that will add, right? Because some of the vehicles might work better, might work worse, and so there's a depending, right? So there's not necessarily a lot of information out there. But if anything, when it comes to health and safety, there's a lot of metrics to consider to a lot of people, in particular when we talk about manufacturing, and there's a lot of risk involved, right? So if anything, looking at some of those projects, we're looking to mitigate the risk, right? So it works perhaps slightly different, but not necessarily the same comparing to traditional ways of powering different vehicles, right? Um let's come back to tanks at high pressure, allowing for more energy to be packed into vehicles. Additionally, FCS often have good acceleration and performance. Again, I'm not entirely sure where we are in terms of weight. So acceleration perhaps it will be good, but not necessarily when it comes to performance, right? If the weight is an issue, or perhaps the entire weight might be heavier compared to what we currently are using. Number 5, infrastructure challenges. I have seen some of those countries, to put things into perspective, like Japan. I'm always interested to take a look at some of those top performing car manufacturing countries of there, as well as there are some companies, top companies up there within those countries, right, and how they're looking to tackle some of those issues when it comes to new emerging technologies, right? Infrastructure challenges. One of the main challenges for the widespread adoption of hydrogen FCS is the lack of infrastructure. Building a new network of hydrogen fueling stations is closely and or has been slow process, as well as it costs money. It can be slow, right? But if there would be more money, more capital, more interest in some of those areas, perhaps that could potentially speed up the process. If anything, if there's a need. So what would be benefits compared to against what we are doing right now? So there's a lot of issues there. Number 6, hydrogen production. Environmental impact of hydrogen FCFs depends on how the hydrogen is produced. If hydrogen is produced using renewable energy sources, the overall environmental footprint can be lower. However, most hydrogen is currently produced using natural gases, which emits carbon dioxide, unless carbon capture and storage technologies are employed. Again, so there's so much pushback. So, how well currently some of those technologies are able to capture and store carbon? Not that well. Not that well. It's very, very underperforming, if anything, very. So again, so we can take a look at some industry examples from there, as well as hydrogen. If we're gonna shift from to how we're gonna produce that hydrogen, right? Again, there's different options there. Perhaps we're taking a look at those options. It's something that could perhaps we're taking a look at the green hydrogen, more or less renewable, I guess. But again, so there's a lot of pushback there. So there's a lot of problems, even if we're gonna try to adapt different methods, as well as there's gonna be a lot of issues there. Number 7, vehicle availability. Of hydrogen FCFs in the market. So how many are there? Different. Do your own research, as well as if they are available, what would be the price of the vehicle? Search that I have done, it would be very similar, or perhaps slightly a little bit more expensive compared to electric vehicles, right? Slightly over that. But if there, okay, so there's other problems, parts, availability, as well as infrastructure when it comes to charging. How far can you travel from your home? So there's a lot of issues, right? If anything, there's a lot of problems. If limited compared to traditional gasoline vehicles and battery electric vehicles. So if we're comparing to those two different types, right? Perhaps there's another market there when we're talking about powered with hydrogen, right? So again, there's a new market there for people who are interested. If you're interested in learning more, I have published a book, Project Fitflow. Within this book, I'm sharing a lot of information with people who are interested in developing themselves, learning more, everything what you would need to know about your body. Three different areas, if anything, that would be nutrition, everything what you are eating, as well as how that food would be produced into calories or energy, and how your body is using energy. That would be one area. Recovery, rest periods, that would be number two. And third area, exercise and training, and or putting a lot of stress on yourself. You're working against gravity, and how you can increase that and optimize your performance when you are looking at all three of those areas. You can find all that information, QR code in the corner, or the company's website below. It's important to note that advancements in technology and changes in automotive industry may have changed by now, as well as if not by now, there's not going to be a lot of changes in the near future, right? With some of those companies that I covered so far, I haven't realized that there are so many different companies even within UK, Japan, US, where they're looking at different sources of energy and how those companies can power different vehicles. Perhaps some of that information, or they just focus on getting working prototypes done, right? Yourself, if you are interested, I will highly recommend to take a look and try to understand some of those industries a little bit better. But again, currently we're comparing three different industries, right? Gasoline, electric, and within the studio, we're taking a look at hydrogen, right? Perhaps there's even more and better markets up there, but take your time and perhaps do your own research, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.